All right, we are live. Namaste, guys. Christian R. Long, life enhancement consultant. Welcome to another episode of the Mahatma Project, spreading the message of great souls doing great work. And on today's episode, we have Senor Kirk M Samuels dropping some knowledge. Now, this is a little unusual, guys, because typically I like to get to know the people that I connect with for a few minutes, and Kirk and I just had our very first opportunity to connect right before we went live for today. So I actually stumbled across Kirk probably about 6 or 7 weeks ago on Facebook, because I'm always looking for people that are positive, people that are motivational, people that are helping other people become great in their lives, bringing them from where they are to where they want to be. And I saw a couple of his videos, and his posts are good, but his videos are even better because it shows this bright, shiny, loving personality, and he's a good guy. I don't know, I just got the vibe from him. He seems like high quality, and he just finished writing a book. He put it out on December 17th. It's on Amazon, so we'll be sure to have the links for you guys. Give me 1 second. Un momento.
Hey, man.
Hey,
I want to go in.
Yeah.
I'm down. I need a food. My truck. I need a jump.
Okay, I'm actually in an interview right now. I'm online on an interview, so I wish I could help you in this very moment, but maybe in the next like hour or so.
Oh no, I gotta get it done. I gotta be out in 30 minutes.
Sorry, my man. That was interesting. All right, let's keep it. Apparently, my next door neighbor needed to jump, and unfortunately, I can't right now. So here we are. So he released his book December 17th of 2017, and it's called For Your Eyes Only, and it's called The Inside Scoop About Men, Porn, and Marriage. So if that's not a title that gets you interested in wondering what's deep inside of it, I don't know what is. So, and he's going to be launching an official party. When is it? On February what, Kirk?
It's February 10th, 2018, Vehicle Vault in Parker, Colorado.
Parker, Colorado. Okay, so
yeah, 6 p.m.
Denver and Parker are about 40 minutes. So he's about 40 minutes south of me right now. So I want to kind of give the floor to Kirk, a little bit about his background, how he got into this world to begin with, what inspired the writing of the book, and I'll do my best to ask intelligent questions along the way. So Kirk, the floor is yours, my man.
Right on. Actually, the better news is that we're not even that far away. Parker is only about 20 miles away. So man, we're close enough to do some coffee here in a little bit if we wanted to. So it's not even that far away. Great.
Well, what about Denver traffic? Doesn't that double?
Well, yeah, there you go. When you add in traffic, yeah, that takes things to a whole nother level, man. First of all, man, thank you for that glowing introduction, man. I appreciate that. I'm looking around like, who's this guy talking about, man? So that's pretty cool. You know, in terms of the book itself, a little bit about me. I was born in Washington, D.C. My father was a 100% disabled Vietnam vet. He had PTSD.
Mine too. 100% PTSD.
Yeah, and probably not like you. My father was in and out of a mental hospital most of my life growing up.
Wow.
And then there was addiction issues and abuse issues and things like that in my childhood. And so I kind of had that initial journey in life. Probably around the age of 9, I discovered essentially what became the best medication for my life. And that was the first time my neighborhood friends introduced me to pornography. And then, man, I began essentially for the next 30 years of my life, I was hooked, absolutely hooked. And I mean, it took over and it controlled everything from I've lost career, every relationship I've ever had suffered.
No kidding.
All of my hopes, dreams, aspirations. At my rock bottom, I was sleeping in the back of my car and seriously contemplating suicide out here in Parker. And so, and kind of from that rock bottom experience, man, I kind of said, okay, something's got to give. It's one of those, it became a fight or flight moment for me, to be honest, because it's something I'd reached the bottom, I'd reached the end of the rope. And I said, if this is what life is like, I don't want to live it anymore, because I keep ending up, at some bottom place because of this problem that I haven't been able to give up. And obviously, when I was first introduced to pornography, that was way before these days where there's free and unlimited broadband porn in everybody's pocket. And I mean, it's the only free and unlimited drug ever in history. And so, oh, by the way, we don't talk about it very much in public settings. And, you know, people like you, I mean, it takes courage to even bring this up to an audience of people. I mean, I'm speaking from a guy who wanted somebody to bring it up, wanted somebody to talk about it. Every book that I read said, it's bad, you should stop. And that frustrated me because I'm thinking, duh. I mean, I know it's bad. I'm sleeping in the back of my car. And so when I heard it's bad, you should stop, you know, I just wanted to throat punch somebody at that moment. Like, I know that, right? And so I needed somebody not to tell me what the problem was or why it was a problem, but how to fix or solve the problem in my life. And so I actually, from that point on, I began to search, and I put together what is the only score-based adaptive behavioral therapy method anywhere specifically targeting pornography. There's a lot of support groups and, you know, counselors do intensives and a lot of books and a lot of theories and that kind of stuff. But I have a score system that I teach in a class setting and then one-on-one. And I teach specifically how I got free. So everything I teach, I use things that I learned from professionals, mental, spiritual, emotional, physical. I use all the physiology, neurology, psychology, theology, all that kind of stuff. And I package all of that together and I call it freeology. Because that's how I got free. I got strong in my mind, body, and spirit. I lost 55 pounds and I wasn't trying to lose weight.
Wow.
I grew all kinds of ways just in the things that I learned, just in my understanding of myself and who I am and my past. And then then all of a sudden gifts started coming to the surface, like speaking and encouraging and inspiring people, things that I didn't know were there because they were suppressed by what for me was an addiction. And so I started teaching that, and I've been doing that now going on 4 years this spring. And that's been great. It's phenomenal for somebody to tell you that, you know, they're alive because of you. You know, when first time somebody told me that they were going to take their life before my class, I mean, that just floored me. And whenever I still hear that from guys, it just makes it all worth it. So, and so as I went kind of down that path with the class and my teaching and coaching, I began to realize that we all have kind of a lot of similarities as to what this does or why it's so trapping for millions, tens of millions of people, specifically men. And so then I thought, well, how come no one has ever, you know, put this perspective out anywhere? Like, why is there such a misperception about the person that's consuming porn? It's not, you know, the person is bad or creepy. Matter of fact, some of the best people I know in our society and in our culture just happen to have this problem. And so I decided to write a book, not from the macro to the micro, but from the micro to the macro in terms of, I'm not coming at it from a social scientist perspective of just numbers and cultural phenomena and all that kind of stuff, and then narrowing it down to why it's so bad. I actually come from the inside and I explain why it is so entrapping to the person that it's entrapping to. And that's, I actually personify pornography and I call her the IP mistress. And I say what she does, 6 things that she does that no one else can do, and nothing else exists like that in his life. Even if this person has a deep spiritual aspect to his life, you know, no God will even do these things that pornography does in his life. And so I personify it, and then in the context of the book, I connect the mind, body, and spirit aspect of why it's such a holistic problem.
And so by the way, for you to come out like this and tell your personal story about something that has been so deep-seated and dark for so long in our culture, I give you props for being vulnerable. So thank you for letting it be out there. When you were sitting in your car and you had hit rock bottom in your life, what was the catalyst, the insight, the nugget, the person, the phone call? What was it that brought you from being in the back of your car because of this addiction to at least moving yourself forward to the next point in your life?
I think, again, I think it comes down to what I call, and I mean, it's instinctual. It's a fight or flight. It's either I'm going to die or not. I'm going to either fight this or I'm going to run from this. And so for me, in my personal journey, it turned into that conversation in the back of that car turned into a God conversation of, okay, you know, I've been praying for help, you know, for my whole life and nothing has happened. So, okay, God, show me that you're real. Help me get through this. Show me what I need to know. And so for me, it became something that that I had to do, or I wasn't going to survive anymore. It became something that it did become a life and death issue for me. I had been through the divorces. I've been through, you know, all that kind of stuff where it was just loss in life. But now I was at the point of I was about to lose my life. And, you know, sometimes you have to start with the decision. The decision is not enough, but you have to start with it, and you have to start with it where it's going to be all or nothing, where it's like, this means that much to me that I'm willing to go all the way with whatever it is. And for me, it was about to kill me, and so I had to kill it.
So you actually, in that moment, Kirk, you made two decisions. You said, I'm deciding not to kill myself, and I'm deciding to move my life forward.
Absolutely. And then, you know, too, the other part of that is I realized buried in that once I started to kind of look, and I knew this was a problem in every part of my life, every part of who I am. We're all, you know, multidimensional. We're all mind, body, and soul, or however you want to frame that. And so I knew that this controlled me on every single level. So I began to search for, what do the brain people have to say about my neurology and psychology? What do the body people have to say about my physiology? What do the spirit people have to say about I call it theology, just because that's as smart as that's the best word I can come up with, you know.
It's
somebody else smarter probably. But and so in the context of each one of those, I went to find out what the experts in those fields had to say about struggles and about getting stronger and growing and all that. And so the more I looked, the more I started to see, you know, some kind of commonalities. And then I said, wait a minute, what if I connect this dot with this dot and this dot and this dot? And then when I started doing these things, like practical, everyday, tangible stuff, I'm not talking just, hey, wake up and be a better, I'm talking like tangible, actual stuff to do each day. I started to realize for the first time in my life, I'm having success. And then it went to a whole nother level for me, Christian. Then it went to a whole nother level of purpose. Now all of a sudden I'm thinking, wait a minute, I wonder if somebody else could use this. And that took me to, wait a minute, maybe there's a purpose for my pain, or maybe my purpose was buried in my pain. Maybe the reason I went through all of that was so that I can speak deeply into someone else's pain. And so I decided to make my pain into my purpose and my purpose into my platform.
I love it. Oh, and of all the different modalities and methodologies that you practice and then began to integrate into your own life, would you say one was more important than another? For instance, when I change my body chemistry, or when I have different kinds of supplementation, that's what did it. Or when I had certain kinds of feelings, that's what did it. Or when I had certain kinds of thoughts, that's what did it. Was there like a defining moment through your healing process?
No. The short answer is no. It's all of that. I mean, I am all of those things. I am equally each aspect of who I am as a human being, as a person. And so, I mean, yeah, to say, well, just go become a gym rat. Yeah, you'll be physically great and you'll be physically dominant. You know, I mean, you can be a Navy SEAL, but still, you know, have all kinds of other issues that relate to other parts of you. And to say that, well, if you just go into some, you know, deep spiritual journey, or you go to some seminary, or you go get some kind of, you know, religious degree or something like that. If that's the case, there wouldn't be spiritual leaders that are consuming pornography, and so on and so forth. And so the shorter, longer answer to your question is all of that. I had to work on each part of me, mind, body, soul, spirit. I mean, consistently to strengthen all of those. And when you strengthen every part of who you are, then nothing can hold you back. And then when you marry that to some kind of a purpose in your life, watch out. I mean, your balloon will go up in the air and nobody will know where it went at that point.
Love it. So to ask the obvious question that our listeners and viewers might be wondering, it's what's the problem with pornography? Who cares?
Okay, that's a great question. Man, I'm so glad you asked that question. First of all, to be clear, I never, ever, 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 ever tell anyone that porn is a problem. If it is a problem for you in your life, you know it already. I don't have to tell you that. If anything is a problem in your life, you know it already. I don't have to tell you that. There are a lot of people that say porn is not a problem. Matter of fact, it's great. I love it. There are people that say porn helps me in my marriage. Okay, that's great. I mean, and to those people, I say, if that's the case, then I'm not talking to you. But I will tell you that 60% of all divorces involve someone with a porn problem.
Really?
Absolutely. And so, I mean, and so to ignore the massive amounts of people that it is a problem for just because we don't talk about it is a disservice. So yeah, I mean, I don't tell people that it's a problem, but if it is a problem, they know it already. And I say, if it is a problem for you, I'm the guy you need to talk to. And so in the context of is it a problem or isn't a problem, that's none of my business. And I don't come at anything from a morality perspective in terms of it's bad and it's bad just because I say it's bad. I'm telling you I start off the book with my story. And even the way I start off this interview, because I lay that groundwork so that, and it just happens to be the catchphrase of the times right now, but I lay out my vulnerability so that someone else can say, me too.
Yeah.
And it's funny because in the book, I actually have a paragraph about that. And I wrote that paragraph like a year ago. That the reason and some of the stuff I put in the book is pretty, there's going to be I'm going to get some funny looks when people start reading, my past and my story. And it's like, it is what it is. But the reason I lay that out there is to open the door for somebody to connect with that. And if someone doesn't connect with that, then I'm not trying to kick down their door to tell them they need to connect with that.
So when you were writing the book and you had the inspiration of, I want to tell my story as vulnerable, as raw, as honest, as forthright as possible, was there parts of you that said, you know what? I don't know if I want to write that because that's going to I'm going to get judged. That's going to blow some people out. How did you work through that to keep moving forward?
Absolutely. That was part of it, man. I mean, it's very, we talk about a whole lot of things in our culture today, man. I mean, there are very few things that are off limits for us to talk about. This is one of the last taboo topics for us to talk about. And so, yeah, in the context of me crossing that mental bridge in terms of I'm going to put it all out there, there was, even the day that I hit publish, I was like, do I really want to do this thing? And but then at some point now the toothpaste is out of the tube, right? So it is what it is. But there was several opportunities where I kind of paused and questioned, like, man, do I really want to put it all out there? But again, my heart is for the person that is where I was. When I was there, man, I would have given anything for somebody else to put it out there and to allow me to connect with them. Yeah. And that's, and to be totally honest, I'm not even anti-porn. I'm anti-slavery. So I'm an abolitionist. Wherever, to me, slavery anywhere is slavery everywhere. So if anyone has any problems in their life that keeps them from being awesome, that keeps them from being dope, then I have a problem with that thing. My story happens to give me a unique perspective on a unique topic. And oh, by the way, if you want to be heard, you can say something loud or different. Well, not too many people are talking about porn or pornography. So, hence, if I would have just been talking about you know, smiling more, being a great guy, you would have probably been like, yeah, okay, there's another guy.
Right. Totally.
And so, but my whole goal of, you know, putting it out there and dancing on that tree limb, I call it, even though it's lonely, even though, you know, I get heckled on social media, and even though, you know, people look the other way sometimes when they see me because they think I'm a come talk about porn and all that kind of stuff, you know, even though it's awkward, so on and so, even though, and I happen to be single now, even though some, you know, women are like, no, thank you. I'm still like, I am most concerned with the guy that's hurting like I was hurting. And now I hear from more and more wives of guys, and I'm hearing their side of the story, and it just breaks my heart to hear, you know, what the wives are going through, and hearing them and seeing, you know, families break apart, and now, you know, families and kids having to go through what my family and my kids had to go through.
Got it.
And so that, you know, that's the tough part. And actually, as I was writing the book, probably about 3/4 of the way through, I realized that my target audience is actually primarily women, because I'm explaining it to the people around him so that they can better understand him, so that if I ever get my hands on him and can help him in a good way and can help him, they can understand what he's going through and kind of help, you know, it's all his work to do. It's all his work to do. But at the same time, the people around him, whether it be the person sleeping next to him in bed, or the family, or his counselor, or his doctor, or his religious leader, whatever, the more they can understand him, the better off that, you know, we can all, that he can be successful in getting the help that he needs. But the more we look at him not understanding it and just looking at him with, this guy has, you know, some weird, creepy problem or whatever, or that thing and whatever, then it's going to be in the shadows. It's going to be in the closet. It's not going to come out. And, you know, you can't correct anything you won't confront. And so
I love that viewpoint, Kirk, the viewpoint of the person reading the book who might be with that person who has the problem, to develop compassion and empathy and understanding for where they're at. So I think brilliant perspective, like really, really good. Because we're coming to a close. Obviously, we haven't even scratched the surface of it. But it's an opportunity to promote and kind of get the gears grinding in people's minds of like, hi, I do know someone who has this problem. Let me pick up his book. Or I myself have this problem. Let me pick up this book. Or I'm curious to know more about this perspective. Let me pick up this book. In your 4 years of working with guys around this condition, would you say that there's a set demographic of those men who are suffering the most? Blacks, whites, over 30, under 30, married, divorced, single, awkward and shy, confident? Would you say there's like a set demographic of people suffering from this?
A man. That's pretty much it. I mean, really, I mean, and again, the other part of explaining it to the people around him is when I explain it to a guy, like, duh, I get it. When I lay out the 6 V's, duh, I get it. You know, and women have a harder time understanding why it's so entrapping to him. And so as far as the demographic is concerned, there is no age limit. The youngest person I've helped was 11. The oldest was 72. Everything in as far as profession, from, you know, doctors, lawyers, pastors, counselors, to car mechanics and painters, and it's everywhere. It's everyone. It's everywhere. And I mean, it's so prolific that I always say, if it had a blue dye like the paint, you know, and when you rob a bank, we'd all be walking around like Smurfs. I mean, it's everywhere, bro. And so, and you know, it's everywhere, but it's nowhere because we don't openly talk about it, because we don't openly confront those things. And I've also found that through this journey, I've actually tapped into my personal journey of manhood, boyhood, and all of the things. Pornography is a medication. You don't have medication without pain. And so this journey has also taken me to the point of understanding the commonalities of the pain that we have as men that we grew up with, that we medicate, and then we quite often bring those into relationships and all that kind of stuff. So that's why the subtitle is Men, Porn, and Marriage, because all of those three are interrelated in terms of the the meat of the problem.
Wow.
I love talking about the relationship dynamic between men and women, and specifically the male experience today, and what that's like, and why guys are the way they are.
Brilliant. So if people, sorry guys, we're ending this interview, so you're gonna have to follow up with Kirk separately. Kirk, if people want to reach out to you,
I'll come back.
you'll come. All right, okay, I'll hold you to it. If people want to connect with you, what would be the best way? And then can you do me a favor and just remind everybody of the event that you're putting on in February?
Absolutely. Kirk M Samuels is my website, kirkmsamuels.com. My email address is right on there. When you send me an email, it's at kirk@freeindeed36. But my email address is right on there, and it goes straight to my phone. You know what? I'll even go a step further. I'll give you and everyone watching here my personal phone number. You ready?
Give it to us.
I'm crazy like that, man. I'm telling you. It's 720-515-6536. That's my personal. The phone I'm talking to you on right now, it'll ring that number. But kirkmsamuels.com is my website for the class, for me, for everything. Is my background, my story, book info, all that kind of stuff. As far as the book launch event, it's been my dream to publish this book. I didn't read my first book cover to cover until I was 35 because of ADD and dyslexia.
Wow.
And so this is a dream, and I decided to take the opportunity of my book launch to inspire other people to chase their dreams. I'm not even going to focus about me, and to be honest, I'm not even going to talk about porn or my book at the book launch event. I got together a bunch of professional motivational speakers that I know personally, that are life coaches, business coaches. There's a recording artist. There's somebody from the media. The MC is the PA announcer for the Nuggets. He's the one I'm about to go meet when I'm done with you. But and so the whole purpose of the event is to inspire and equip everyone there to chase their dreams. Not only just have a dream, but how do we actually put spark to that and make it catch flame? That's the whole point of the whole event, and I'm so excited about that thing. It's ridiculous. It's February 10th. 2018, Vehicle Vault, Parker, Colorado, 6 p.m. And man, it's going to be, if you come there, I guarantee, and I'm going to be giving away free books, by the way. I'm not even going to be selling the book. While supplies last, everybody that comes will get a free autographed book. So, I mean, the whole point is not even about me. It's about you, whoever you are at this event, man. And it's no hitch, no sales pitch, no, none of that, man. It's the venue is awesome. It's going to be fantastic.
See, didn't I tell you guys that Kirk had a big heart and he was all about generosity and adding value to people's lives? I love it. I love it.
That's it, man. That's it.
So, Kirk, I want to thank you so much for your time, my man. I learned a lot. I got my little imaginary notepad underneath over here. And thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy, your expertise, your story, your vulnerability. Very, very rare in our culture today, because we're in the Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Everything's perfect. Everything's amazing. There are no problems. So I really admire you for stepping out really, really far out on that limb. So thank you. That's it, guys. Any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to contact Kirk directly or contact me through the multitude of ways you can get a hold of me if you need to get a hold of Kirk in another way. So this has been another Mahatma project of spreading the message of great souls doing great work. Love you guys very much. Christian Arlong, Kirk Samuels, Atma Namaste. Talk to you guys soon. Peace. Wait, we didn't pause it.